Hey everybody, it is Drac in post-editing. I want to apologize for this episode. The audio quality is crap, pure crap. I fixed it as much as I can in editing. We had a catastrophic failure at the beginning of the podcast. Did not realize it until after we recorded. Our levels got totally messed up, so unfortunately Pineleaf is way lower than I am. I have fixed it as much as I can. Not happy with the quality of this podcast whatsoever. I apologize once again. Not the best sounding episode, but an episode nonetheless.
Good day, everyone. This is Panic Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, everything is going fine here. How are the villagers coming along?
They seem to enjoy their New Year's, so things went well. No complaints. It's back to the same old now. Holidays are over.
Oh, okay. I thought that when the holidays are over is when they start complaining again.
Well, normally, but they must have had a really good holiday.
All right. Oh, hopefully they'll stay satisfied for a little while before getting into an uproar again. Let's then head into what's in the news for this first episode of the new year, which we are here on Thursday this year. And that means that this chronicle is the latest chronicle.
Hot off the presses.
Hot.
Brand new as of, according to the DDO website, 49 minutes ago.
Oh, they just made it in time.
They did. So this is, when we say the most up-to-date chronicle, this is it right here, folks. You're hearing it first if you haven't read it.
Anything interesting in there?
Well,
we have this cover with some people celebrating.
Yeah, is that what they're doing? I was trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this cover this week. It's...
I thought they were dancing or something.
Oh, sure. Okay. Sure, we'll call it dancing. Why not? Sounds good to me. Why not? In the community spotlights, don't forget about the Waterdeep Dwarves and one drow. Thank you very much. As they invade D&D night on DDO stream. You can check out and watch our adventure that we just did on Sunday nights, and you can see us take on a mind flayer.
Oh, fun.
A city watch captain. A halfling bureaucrat and a lost kitten.
The halfling bureaucrat, did he like paperwork?
Very much so.
Okay.
There was paperwork involved. I won't spoil the episode.
Okay.
But there was paperwork. And there was a mind flayer. And just watch the episode. That, of course, is we are going through the brand new Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So check that out. It's a party full of dwarves and the only cool person, which is me, the drow. Also, the High Lords of Malkir, they are back with their raid hosting series. They are going to host a legendary Shroud teaching raid this Saturday night, January 5th at 9 p.m. See, we can actually talk about this stuff now because it hasn't happened yet. This is amazing. And that is happening this Saturday night, January 5th, 9 p.m. Eastern, over on Sarlona. So check that out. If you ever want to learn how to raid, go and take part in these High Lords of Malkir raid hosting, teaching sessions they have. You will learn all sorts of things about raiding with them. Once again, this Saturday night at 9 p.m. over on Sarlona.
You said Lords of Malkir?
Yes. The High Lords of Malkir, yep.
Of Malkir. Now, is that... Because that sounds like a name from the Wheel of Time.
I always assumed that's where that name came from, but I'm not sure,
okay,
to be honest with you. But yes, I kind of put the two and two together, but I don't know. Let's jump over into our fan site news section of our brand new chronicle. We have DDO Cast episode 543, and that is Killing Time. They are, Patrick and Voodoo Spice is going through and teaching you how to do the Killing Time raid. So if you're interested in checking that raid out and learning how to do it properly, check out the latest DDO cast. Ginger Spice has his week in videos. Looks like he did a pair of live stream Reaper 10s on his Voodoo Warlock. Reaper 10. Insane. And look who's back. Edric is back with a brand new blog. I was wondering what happened to him. It's glad to see that he's back in blogging. He is talking about what brought Shurax. I probably totally butchered that name. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. I've heard it about 55 million different ways, so I'm going to say a Shurax. Sounds good to me. To Quartos Island. Of course, if you're not familiar with who the heck is that, that is the White Dragon. So he's just curious, why did that White Dragon come to Quartos Island? Read the blog post and see his thoughts.
Ooh, why did he... I guess I always assumed that the Mind Flayer had something to do with it, but we'll see from his blog post.
Read the blog post. And don't forget to check out episode 12 of Free DO. That is the many bathrooms of Stormreach. No clue. I haven't watched it yet. Now I have to watch it just from the title alone. And of course, that is brought to you by Psycho Blonde and everybody's favorite Friday night show has episode 108, and that is Fridays on Ice with Baklagor. So now we have our first Chronicle comment of 2019. What is one of your goals for 2019?
Now, in our last episode, I, of course, talked about getting my druid up to level... Not my druid, my artificer dragonborn up to level 20, because that was the goal that we announced last week. Or last episode, I should say.
Yes.
I do have another DDO goal that I had set since then, and that is to get my druid up to level 15.
Okay.
Now, of course, I'll need a little help from you for that, because that's when we're playing together.
That's what I was just about to say, and I was going to say, now that's the one that we're playing together with, right? I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to get to 15.
Yeah, I figure that means that each of those two characters then will try to get 10 levels over the course of the year. That's sort of the goal.
Oh, that should be way easy, I would think.
We'll see. I've had earned 10 gold before.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying that's going to be a reachable goal.
All right. It's doable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, last episode we did talk about this. I haven't added any DDO related goals, but I do have a podcast related goal, and that's to get this thing edited and released on time, because we're changing the day it comes out, and that's the day after we record. So yeah, so we'll see how well that works out every week. More on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
More on that in a little bit. Spoilers for later in the show.
Then, is that it for the Chronicle?
That's it. Oh, no, we do have our screenshot of the week. Oh, no, we don't have a screenshot this week. Never mind. That is it for the Chronicle.
Of the week?
I guess they took it off because of the holidays. Those darn holidays.
Oh, those darn holidays. The screenshots just took a break then. Then let's head into our store sales. I presume the sales didn't take a holiday.
They did not. We have 25% off select adventure packs. I love that. It's always select adventure packs. The monster manuals, the attack spells, and the jeweler's toolkits and the sentience toolkits. All at 25% off now through January the 10th. Our free sample of the week gets you a lasting potion of resist fire plus 10. 10 of those potions when you use the coupon code FIRERES. FIRERES. And that magically is through January 10th as well. Imagine how that worked out.
Amazing. And And for once, we get to announce these with a full week before.
That's right. Exactly. You got a full week to do this. You don't just have 2-3 days. It depends when you listen to this. See, there's just all sorts of changes revolving around this podcast. And we're on the cutting edge now. We're on the breaking edge of all this news. And we're sharing this stuff and giving people time to go run out and spend their DDO points. Life is glorious.
Right. Then let's head into the real news for this week, and that is the new time. We mentioned it already, but I think you have a few things to say about it, right?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this, just in case you maybe didn't listen to the whole episode last week, or you haven't listened to last week's episode yet, and you're just jumping into this episode. You're probably really confused about what we're talking about. We made a change to the podcast starting this week. Actually, this is the first episode that we've done it, which we've alluded to earlier. We are now recording this episode on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. The change for the new night and the new time was kind of twofold. One, we wanted to make sure that we could actually talk about any DDO related game news as it was happening, I guess we'll say, or at least when it was still new. What seemed to happen with our show when we recorded on Monday evenings, we would record a show, and then it usually never failed. On either like Tuesday, sometimes Thursdays, they would usually announce something. And then by the time we recorded another show, everybody had heard about it, everybody knew about it, everybody was like, that's old news now. So now we can actually do that. And kind of the same with the Chronicle. When we were talking about the Chronicle every week, we were always talking about the week's previous Chronicle. So like the store sales, as you alluded to before, you only had a couple days to take advantage of them. So that was kind of the main impetus of it. Well, in doing so, we had to change the time that the podcast is going to release, because usually we released on Wednesday nights. I don't own a TARDIS, so I can't go back and release the podcast the day before it comes out, though that would be kind of awesome to actually release it before we recorded it. That would be pretty sweet, though.
Yes, but we might run into some embargo rules we didn't know about.
Oh, true. See, I didn't think about that. See, Pine Leaf Logic for the win. Already, the first Pine Leaf Logic win of the year. Right there, folks. So, yes, the podcast will now be released Friday mornings at 10 a.m. So if you subscribe to the audio podcast feed, the new episode will hit your podcast catcher of choice Friday mornings at 10 a.m. And the YouTube video will release. Okay, technically the YouTube video is going to release sometimes Thursday evening after I get it edited. But so if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll see that late Thursday evening. If not, you can always go to the website Thursday or Friday. See, I'm messing this up. All right, I knew I was going to do this. To get the podcast, go to the website on Friday morning at 10 a.m. and you'll see the post, and then there'll be the audio feed, so you can listen right there. You can download it, or you can watch the YouTube, which is also right there as well. So Friday morning at 10 a.m. The only negative thing, I guess there's two negative things about us recording this on Thursday evening. Number one, we're always going to be a week behind in our listing in the Chronicle. So when the Chronicle spotlights our episode in the Fanside news section, it's always going to be a week behind, because the podcast won't be released until Friday, so they're not going to know about it until after the Chronicle is made. So just keep that in mind. If you rely on the Chronicle to listen to our podcast and to say, oh yeah, I forgot that they have a new episode out this week, it's going to be a week behind.
Well,
Not
it doesn't matter. That means they'll just be hearing everything about the same pace as they've been hearing it.
Right, true. That's exactly it. If that's how you always feel, as Pine Leaf said, you're going to notice nothing different other than... Actually, nothing. You're going to notice anything different. The second drawback to this whole recording on Thursday evening thing. Remember how I just said the podcast is going to release on Friday morning? Yeah. That means I have to edit this and make the YouTube video and all of that fun stuff the same night as we record it. So wish me luck. We'll see how this is going to go. I'll be honest with you right now. It might not be as edited as it used to be. We'll see. Before I really edited the audio a lot. So we'll see if I still do that, knowing I have to get it done the same night. We'll see. That's kind of why we're starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Normally our episodes go 45 minutes to a little over an hour. So we figured if we start at 7, that, we should be done by 8 or 8:30. So that should give me, time to get it edited and everything and ready to release the next morning. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. But just remember, new nights, and you can listen to us live if you did not know that. If you are at home or you're on the go, just go to our website, ddoplayers.com. Click on the live link at the top of the website, and that will take you directly to our Mixlr page. And you can listen to us on your phone, on a tablet, on your computer. However you would like, you can listen to us record this broadcast live. And if you just want to listen, you don't have to sign into Mixlr. But if you'd like to participate in the chat, you will have to create a Mixlr account and sign in. But if you just want to listen, you can listen without signing in. But if, like I said, if you want to chat, you will have to sign in. But you can do that over on our Mixlr page. So go to ddoplayers.com/live. And that will take you directly to the page because it is a really long URL. I'm not going to read it. But you can find it, ddoplayers.com/live. But just remember, Thursday night, 7 p.m., we record the show. Friday morning, 10 a.m., brand new, hot off the presses episode will release. Hopefully.
Hopefully. That's the
Hopefully.
thing.
We'll see how it goes.
And that is something then that we will monitor at the end of the year to see how many times you...
Right, yeah, we'll see, and then you'll know, hey, the podcast can come out on Friday, what gives? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and we will see if everything comes out like a breeze.
Mm-hmm. And then also, another little slight snafu in this is Pine Leaf has something he does every second Thursday of the month, and I have something every third Thursday. So that might affect start time. On those weeks, we might either do the podcast late, we might actually just record the podcast ahead of time or something, and we won't do it live at all. I don't know. We're still going to try to play with that and see how that's going to affect us. So keep that in mind. The second and third Thursday of the month might be a slight time change with the podcast, but stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We'll announce it on Twitter, over on our Facebook page, all of that fun stuff. Any social media, follow us. We'll keep you updated when we're going to record. But should be 7 p.m. on Thursdays. Other than those 2 Thursdays, then we're not sure yet.
We're not sure yet, yeah. Then, are we ready to head on then?
Yep.
Then let's head on to what's coming in from the dungeon, where the Adventures of Middle-earth is heading now to the next land in their thing, and they're actually coming into a nice, normal, stable area, what's, I guess you call a relatively civilized area from the point of view of players in the game and our knowledge of Middle-earth, and that is because they are coming through Breeland.
That's right. The Breeland Origin Guide will be the next book coming up for Cubicle 7's Adventures in Middle-earth RPG. This is going to be out soon in 2019. The Breeland Region Guide is exactly what you think it is. It's a region guide for Breeland. Enough said. Next, no. Details of the book are going to give you a detailed look at Breeland itself, and that's going to include, of course, Bree, Archit, Combe, and Staddle. So if you're familiar with, as Pine Leaf said, those are fairly civilized regions. I don't want to get too Tolkienish because we have another podcast all for that, but Pine Leaf is well familiar with that podcast because he's on it too. Lotro Players.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
LotroPlayers.com. Anyway, it's also going to give you a list of some things to do while you're in Bree. You can have some fun while you're in Bree. Maybe some new adventures you can go on as you're in Bree and Breeland. Also, of course, you got to have maps. What would a region guide be without maps? So you're going to get maps of Breeland, Bree itself, and of course, the Prancing Pony. Everybody loves the Prancing Pony.
Head into the Prancing Pony. Yes, a merry little inn.
And they're also going to give you a complete set of customized journey tables for Breeland. So if you're using so if you're using the journey rules, which I suggest that you don't, but that's just me. I'm not a big fan of them. They're going to give you some new tables for that. A new playable culture. That's going to be the Dwarves of the Blue Mountains.
Now, this is one that puzzles me. Shouldn't that come with Ered Luin instead of Breeland?
You would think it would. I don't understand the logic in this either. I guess I'm going to have to wait until I see it and see how they're tying this in. But yeah, this made no sense to me at all. And then, of course, as in all the other region guide books, there's going to be 3 new adventures that will start at level 1 and carry the heroes all the way to 4th level or beyond. Old Bones and Skin, The Strange Man, and Strange Roads, and Hold Up in Staddle are the names of the adventures. The MSRP on this hardcover book is going to be $34.99. Right now, you can order the physical book, which is due out early 2019. I don't know what they're calling early 2019, but I guess we'll see. And the PDF, which the PDF is going to actually be out by the end of this month. So you'll have the PDF in your hands before you get the book. But if you order the bundle, you can get them both for $34.99. So in reality, you're buying the book, getting the PDF for free. You can look at it that way.
Now, my question is that it sounds like being holed up in Staddle could be rather uncomfortable unless you have to be a hobbit, because aren't all the holes in Staddle hobbit holes?
As far as I am familiar with the lore, yes, they are. So it's not going to be fun for you if you're not a hobbit or the brand new Blue Mountain Dwarf, apparently.
Okay.
We'll see. But yeah, once again, the Breeland region guide coming to Cubicle 7's Adventures in Middle-earth later this month in hardcover, later this month in PDF, and later in 2019 for the actual physical book.
Then let's go and see what's on the tabletop, where Munchkin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe is coming to retail. That's not only is it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but Deluxe.
It's deluxe. It's not just the turtles. It's the deluxe turtles. You might remember that we talked about this. This, of course, is from Steve Jackson Games, because Munchkin needs every imaginable license you can think of, right? Of course.
Yeah, I suppose they do.
If you can slap something onto Munchkin, good old Steve Jackson Games is going to do it. I mean, seriously.
Well, they did it for Shakespeare.
Well, it's very true. I mean, there's been a couple. Why are they doing this to Munchkin? But
Shakespeare.
I guess if that's what you're into, more power to you. But we did talk about this. This was a very successful Kickstarter that Steve Jackson did. And it looks like all of the backers got their product, which is always great to see when a Kickstarter funds and everybody gets their products in a decent time. I don't think there was any delays with this one. Actually, I think delivered early even, I think, on this one. So but yes, so if you didn't partake in the Kickstarter, fear not. You can go to your friendly local game store and pick up the Munchkin Deluxe version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The box is going to include 168 cards, 6 roll cards, 6 standees, a mounted level tracker, a custom die, because you need a custom die for Munchkin, and, of course, the all-important rule book. It's for 3 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, plays in about 60 to 120 minutes. I don't buy that. I guess it depends how you play Munchkin. When me and my friends play, it takes way longer than that to play, but, you know. Of course, you know.
Munchkin's a filler game.
I mean, well, yeah, but see, we treat Munchkin as the ultimate screw-over game, which is pretty much what Munchkin is, and we really, really screw each other over in Munchkin. So.
Ramp it up to 11.
Exactly. The MSRP on this is $29.95, so not too bad at all. You can pick it up soon in your friendly local game store, and it's up for order on Amazon as well. And I did see today that a couple of people said their Amazon orders are actually shipping already. So if you want to get it quick and you're a member of Prime, there you go. There is your way. We have a link to that in our article. If not, stop by your friendly local game store. I haven't been to my local Barnes & Noble to see if they have it or have it for pre-order, but I'm assuming you'll be able to get it at Barnes & Noble as well because they have a pretty decent game. At least my local Barnes & Noble has a pretty decent game selection, so I'm sure it will be there as well. It's going to go in all retail is what Steve Jackson said. So anywhere you buy games, you should be able to see this. Not sure about like your big box stores like the Target and Walmart game sections. I've never seen Munchkin in either one of them. Really? I take that back. I think Walmart does have like the Munchkin board game, and they might have one of the Munchkins. I don't remember which one it is. So not sure about there, but I do know your local friendly local game store and Amazon has it for order right now. That's Munchkin Deluxe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle version from Steve Jackson Games.
Then let's find out what's on the screen, or perhaps even the screen itself, because a couple of months ago you did an unboxing for a 27-inch monitor, and I guess you've had time to play with it?
I did. I finally decided I've used it enough. I've gamed with it enough. I've used it in other ways as well. So I'm ready to do, well, I watched some videos on it and did some word processing on it because I wanted to see how, text looked on it, how videos looked on it, how games played on it. I got my review up. Yeah, this is the Viotech GN27C2. It's a 27-inch curve gaming monitor. The curve takes a little used to. It was kind of weird at first, but now I'll be honest, when I'm using a non-curve monitor, it's weird to me now. I'm really, really used to the curved monitor. I really like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I'd like the curve. This is a budget model, so it's not one of the high-end, expensive models. This is a budget-friendly monitor. Monitor. I can speak words. Words are easy for me in 2019, apparently. The specs of it, 27-inch, it's a 16.9 widescreen display. It's got the ultra-thin bezel-less design, so yeah, it's kind of weird not having, all my other monitors had a bezel on it, and this one's bezel-less, so it's kind of bizarre. That took a little bit to get used to, too. If you have an AMD card, this does support AMD FreeSync. It's 144 hertz refresh rate, is Xbox ready. It's a 1920 by 1080p resolution. Overall, I like it a lot. I think it is a good monitor. My biggest complaint with it was the stand that comes with it. It just sucks. Not a very good stand at all. My biggest problem with the stand is there's no height adjustment on it.
Oh.
So I should have actually measured it to see how high up it sits. I mean, it's not bad. You can, tilt the monitor a little bit, either up or down for your liking. But I really wish there was a height adjustment on the stand itself. So, because I would like the monitors to set just a bit higher than what it sets. But, that's kind of a little small nitpick. Overall, other than that little nitpick, my only other problem with the monitor, as I talked about in the review, is the menu keys at the bottom, which most monitors have them at the bottom of the screen, so that's fine. And these are over on the right-hand side of the screen. They're not really buttons. They're like this weird, I call them like just nubbins.
Nubbins?
It's not really a button, but it's not really it's just weird. And they're kind of hard to push, and They really need to redesign that. But other than those two, like nitpicks, I give it a thumbs up. I like the monitor. It has a good refresh rate, good for gaming. Games look great. Colors look great. Blacks look really, really good. Brights look good. I've even, like I said, I watched some videos on it. I watched a Blu-ray. I watched some live TV on it via some streaming apps. Watched a football game on it as well while I was in my office doing some other stuff.
Oakland versus Cincinnati by any chance?
Indeed, you must have looked at the review and seen the picture. Yes. And then I did kind of put some screenshot up. Put a screenshot of what the kind of website so you can kind of see. It's kind of hard to review and take pictures of a monitor because you really have to like see it. I tried to do a video review of this too, and it didn't really do it justice, so I never released that video. It's just, a monitor is kind of like a thing that you have to see for yourself, so it's kind of weird just to read words about it and say, this is what I think about this monitor. But overall, if you're looking for a good budget-friendly monitor, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. It's $249, so not, horrible. It's not, I've seen other 27-inch gaming monitors go for like $500, $600. So if you're kind of on a budget, $249 is not bad. It's kind of doable. You might have to save a little bit for it or do some finagling with your budget, but this should be in range, I think, of most people. So if you're looking for a gaming monitor, you might want to check out the Viotech. And as I said, this was the 27C2 is the one I reviewed. They have a bigger version. They have a 32-inch version of this one as well. And I think they have a 23-inch or 24-inch as well, but I reviewed the 27-inch.
I would just wonder, where would I put this? And two, where would I put my second monitor?
Yeah,
I use two monitors.
We kind of talked about this when we first talked about these monitors. I would love to get another one of these and have them sitting side by side because I think that would be so awesome with the curve. It would almost surround you, I think. So that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
And I have the desk space to do it, so I could actually do it.
You have the desk space.
I do, yeah. I have a pretty good-sized desk, so I could definitely get two of them on here. My other monitor that I have on the other computer that sits by this one is a 24-inch, I think it is. So I could fit two 27s, so that would be cool to have two curved ones sitting here.
Now, did you intentionally put "She Who Must Not Be Named" under your monitor?
I did not. That is just where "She Who Not Shall Be Named" sits. Hence why "She Who Shall Not Be Named" tends to go off during the podcast a lot. At weird, odd times for no reason, because nobody has said her name. But see, I've gotten smart, and I put the mute on her. So she is now muted. But she is still "She Who Not Shall Be Named," just in case.
Just in case.
She gets any wise ideas.
Then let's go and have a look at our week in gaming.
Well.
And you're up to lots of stuff, right?
Sure, you can think that. In your world, let's say I was up to a lot of things. In reality, meh, not so much. I did do the Waterdeep Dragon Heist Part 3, which we talked about during the Chronicle, and that was on DDO stream this week. Usually we are playing that over on Evil Beaker's channel. So it's still kind of part of D&D Night on D&D stream. It's just kind of a bonus to that. It takes part over on his stream. This week, though, we decided, you know what? We're taking over DDO stream. We're going to do it live on DDO stream. So that's what we did. You can check out the replay of that. It's on Evil Beaker's YouTube channel. It's also over on the DDO YouTube, I do believe. And it's on their Twitch page as well. So you can check that out. Of course, we talked about it. A bunch of stinky dwarves and one cool drow. Thank you very much. And I'm the cool drow, if you couldn't get that from my conversation earlier.
If that wasn't obvious.
Exactly. Or as some of them refer to me as criminal, or convict. I'm sorry. Convict is the... that's because there was this incident where my drow is just standing around doing nothing.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested.
Arrested for what?
Because a crime was committed, and I happened to be standing by said crime. And of course, since I'm a drow, I had to do it, right? Well, no, I didn't. I didn't do it. But, so...
Isn't that what they all say, though?
Well, I really didn't. Allegedly. I didn't. The constable, there's a Waterdeep constable in our group, and she refers to me as convict.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah.
Uh-huh. She thinks of herself as your parole officer.
Kind of, maybe, yeah. It's kind of a interesting dynamic we have going on because, yeah, like I said, it's kind of weird. And you might be asking yourself, okay, why is a drow hanging out with a bunch of dwarves anyway? Money. It's all about the money for me. I'm just in it for the money. I was hired because they needed help. And I might have certain skills that might help them.
Ooh.
And I know people, but they don't know that I know people.
And this is sort of like the same type of skills that a certain group of 13 dwarves were looking for?
Could be. But see, it's kind of funny. They don't really know this yet. So they're not taking advantage of my skills as of yet.
Okay.
I tried to hint at them. It's like, I could go ahead and, just walk a little bit in front of you. Just, kind of, see what's going on up in front of us.
I'm a reconnaissance specialist.
Yeah, but no, they always go ahead of me, and I'm like, go right ahead, be my guest. So, I think eventually they'll figure out the certain skill set I have might come in very handy for them. We'll see, though. We'll see.
We'll see. Someday.
That's right. And then in tabletop, I finally got to play the MacGyver Escape Room game. There will be a review of that coming within the next week or so over on DDO Players. It's exactly what you think it is. It's an escape room game in a box surrounding MacGyver. The real MacGyver, the old cool MacGyver show, not the piece of crap new show.
What, you mean that someone decided to attempt to bring back MacGyver?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, amazing.
Uppercase U on the unfortunately. Anyway.
Uppercase U on the unfortunate. That bad.
The short, non-spoiler-ish review of this, as I said, a full review is going to be coming up on DDO Players. If you like escape room in a box games, you're going to enjoy this. There's some things I didn't like about it, but overall, very, very fun time. I actually played it on Christmas Eve with my niece and her husband, and they actually enjoyed it, I think, more than I did. They were really into it.
Well, what I found was interesting when I was hearing about the holiday reviews that were coming in, I was hearing one of the top 10 lists being given by Tom Vassell. I forget which list it was, but MacGyver Escape Room game made that list.
Oh, you're kidding me.
And he says he does not like MacGyver at all, and he loved that game.
I could see that. I actually could see that. After playing the game, I could see it kind of draws you in. It really does, and that's...
Yeah. It might have been on his thematic game list, maybe, perhaps.
And it was kind of funny because my niece and her husband, well, I guess technically would be my nephew, they have never actually seen MacGyver. They're younger, of course, so they haven't even seen it in reruns or anything. And they really enjoyed the game, and then they said, you could really put anything over the top of this and make it work. And you could. This just so happens to be themed around MacGyver, but you could easily take this particular, the way they have it set up, and theme it to anything else. But the MacGyver theme works really well. They tie it in really well. It's really well done. And of course, this is from Pressman Games. It is available. It is a Target. Yes, it's a Target exclusive. Why are you laughing about Pressman?
Oh, it's just that when I think of Pressman, I think of things like mass product games.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stuff you expect out of USA Monopoly.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. They're actually branching out. They're actually doing a lot of different games now. But
okay.
but this is a Target exclusive though, so you're either gonna have to go to your local Target, and if you do not have a local Target, you can get it on Target.com. But that's the MacGyver escape room game. Look for a spoiler-free review. That's what's taken me a little while because I got to figure out how I can review this without being spoiler because it is an escape room game. So,
yeah, what's the recommended number of players?
1 to 6.
All right, because I think a lot of escape room games don't work very well with one. That's why I was.
Yeah, they and I can see how you could do this solo. I was thinking about that when we were playing it. I'm thinking, okay, so how are you going to do this solo? And you could. The way this one is done and themed, you could very well do this solo if you would like.
Well, I guess it's MacGyver, so.
Right, yeah. It would work well solo, I think. Like I said, when I actually played this, I played it with 3 people, so. And it is a one and done, so keep that in mind. Because there are parts where some of and this is, maybe a light spoiler. So I'll give a light spoiler alert here. There is a couple of the puzzles. I won't go into detail on them. But you are destroying things.
That's pretty common.
Right. I just want to make sure that, because there is a couple of the other escape room games where you can actually replay them or you can give the game to somebody and they can play it. This one you cannot because you are destroying things. And it's set up into like missions because you are MacGyver. If you're familiar with MacGyver, you're working for the corporation. I can't think of the name right now that MacGyver works for. And you actually have to go to a website, and that's where you enter all of the answers, and then they tell you if you're right or whatever. That's where your countdown timer is and everything. So just keep that in mind. It is a one and done. You're opening up things at certain times. Everything is sealed until the website tells you, okay, go ahead and open this and this, or you can do this thing and then destroy this, and then once you open that and you destroy it, it might tell you to open something else. So just something to keep in mind. But that's fairly common for escape room games, though. But I just wanted to make sure that is known, because I think there is some of the... And I can't remember who actually puts out the escape room game series. It's escaping me right now who actually releases that series of games. Cosmos, that's who does them. There is a couple of those games where you can actually give, after you're done with it, you can give that game to somebody else and they can do it. This definitely is not one of them. You are destroying parts of the game and game pieces. So just keep that in mind if that kind of weirds you out. Because I know some people, even in legacy games, I know some people are weirded out about the fact that they're like ripping a card in half or they're destroying their game. Yeah, so if that triggers you in any way, probably not the game for you. Just saying. But look for a complete review of the MacGyver escape room game coming to DDO players soon as I can figure out how to do it spoiler free. And then the only other thing I did is played a little bit of video games, not much. I tried out a new pirate-themed game, actually. There's an MMO out that is a survival game and an MMO combined. It's called Atlas. It's made by the people that made Ark Survival. So if you're familiar with Ark, that's the game, everybody calls it the dinosaur game. It's the game with all the dinosaurs. It's made by a group of people that used to work for them. This originally started life out as was going to be a mod or an expansion to Ark, and then they decided, you know what, this would make a good game all on its own. So they kind of broke off from Arc and decided to make this one. Once again, it's called Atlas. It is in early access now over on Steam, so you can actually purchase it. Yeah. I hesitate to tell you to go purchase it in early access right now.
It's a bit shaky, I would presume.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, that's not unusual for early access.
Yeah, it had a lot of problems. It had a lot of problems at launch. It's still got a lot of problems. They're updating it. Matter of fact, I just seen today before we started the show. I popped on Steam for just a second, and mine actually updated. So there was an update today. Excuse me, or sometimes where I don't know when the update was, but so if you're not afraid of early access, if you've ever played any other survival games, you'll be right at home with this, especially if you played Ark, because the HUD looks just like Ark's HUD. You'll be spending a lot of the times. So far, all I've done is I've punched a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
Finally got enough stuff to build an axe, so I have a crappy little stone axe. So now I can actually go out and hit the trees with my stone axe. I can hit some rocks with my stone axe. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
I presume you're on a tiny island in the Caribbean then?
Yes. And then eventually you're going to get to where you can build a ship, and then you're going to have a ship, and you're going to have a crew, and you're going to be a pirate, and you're going to go out and do piratey things. And you can also tame animals. You can kill animals, but you can tame animals. Yes, you can tame a monkey if you want. You can have a monkey as a pet. You can have a pirate, because every pirate needs a parrot, right? You can have a parrot as a pet. So think of it as Ark without the dinosaurs, but put everything piratey in it, and that's what Atlas is. We'll see. I'm gonna actually do a full review on this. Haven't decided if I'm gonna wait until it. I'm probably not gonna wait until it goes out of early access, because if it's anything like Ark was in early access for like 3 years, so probably not gonna wait. Just keep in mind any review or anything I talk about. It is early access. Things are changing. It's got problems.
I suggest you at least wait until you feel it's stable.
Yeah. Right now, I would hold off buying it. I'm not even sure how much it costs, to be honest with you, because they sent me the key. So I don't, I would have to look on the Steam page. I'm assuming it's probably $24.99, $29.99, something like that. I don't know. I'll look that up and see how much it costs. But right now, I would hold off on it. But I'll be talking about it probably for a couple of weeks, because I'm going to be playing it, and I definitely want to see what the patch was about today. It's got a lot of problems. It's got a lot of frame rate problems. Some of the animations for the animals are really janky and weird too. So, but as I said, I'm really good at chopping trees. I'm a good tree chopper. That's what I do.
Well, that's unusual in games like that.
And I ran away from a monkey because he was throwing things at me, and I didn't know what to do, so I ran away. So a monkey scared me, finally.
A monkey. Well, that's not unusual in these games either.
That is very true. So, but that's Atlas, and that is from a group that used to work on Ark Survival. So that was my week. Not a lot. Hopefully, Pineleaf can really lay it out what he did. Save us, Pineleaf. Tell me you did a lot. And from the show notes, you did.
This includes the stuff I did since the last show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a little better then. But still, you did a lot.
Yeah. Because I believe we did our characters right after the show or something like that.
I think we did. I think we played like the next night or something, or the night. I don't know. I can't remember, but yeah. So what did we do?
Right. What we did was to since we had level 4 characters, we went into Chanticleer. We started out with the Sacred Helm. Now, since the Sacred Helm was a level 3 quest, I actually bumped that up to hard, which is rather, I know, unusual for me.
And I was shocked. I think my exact words were, "What? Finally putting the quest on hard? What?
Yeah, so we did that. So we did the Sacred Helm on hard, and it's been a little while. It's been a couple weeks, so I was trying to remember. How did I? Well, we got through it.
Yeah,
I remember
I
doing.
don't seem to be having any major problems with
Yeah, we
anything.
didn't have any major problems with it or anything like this. Then after that, then we ran Blockade, Caverns of Shock, and Halls of Chanticleer, and those we ran on normal since Blockade and Caverns of Shock. Actually, no, Blockade might have been level 3, but Caverns of Shock, I believe, is level 4, and Halls of Chanticleer is level 5 for some mysterious reason. We leveled the 5 right after finishing Halls of Chanticleer, so that's why when I put my goal of getting 10 levels on the Druid, I'm basing it on that level 5 that we reached at the
Ah,
end
gotcha.
there.
Okay, that makes sense. And my
Then,
exact words when we started Blockade was only normal, huh, Pine Leaf? There's the Pine Leaf I know.
that finally I know. I, I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't say what. Halls of Chanticleer, not on casual.
Yeah, exactly. Only normal, really?
Then on my Dragonborn Artificer, I went into Barovia, into the Mist. Then I ran Death House, which is probably my favorite quest in Barovia. Then I ran Fresh Baked Dreams, which is probably my least favorite quest in Barovia. I went there, and you get into this boss fight, and I was just slaughtered. It was like, what? Because you have this thing, you can't see anything. You're on this. You have this stairway. Because you have the stairwell that you're on in there. They put in these acid mists all over the place. So you got this all continuous. So you can't see. You've got this debuff constantly pinging you with damage. You have this narrow circular stairway in order to get up to them. And of course, they have up on top when you get there, you've got these blades circling around these, blade barriers going
Mm-hmm.
around. Just about everything you could think of to make a boss fight a real pain, those hags have it. So I got slaughtered, and therefore I said, okay, that's it for today. Then a few days later, I went back into there and redid Death House simply because to do a quest I really enjoyed first to warm up that day. So yeah, redo Death House, and after redoing Death House, then I went back to Fresh Baked Dreams, which I decided that if I can't do it on normal, I'll do it on casual.
So did you wear a smoking jacket and have some smooth jazz playing in the background?
No,
Oh, okay. Not that casual then, huh?
not that casual. Yeah, so I ran that on casual, and that time I was able to finally get through it. Then in Minecraft, I finished building a ship. This was my attempt at building the Sea Ghost from the Saltmarsh series. So I built the Sea Ghost, and I think I sort of much concluded that I still need a little bit better work on how to build ships in Minecraft. Well, it's hard to because I was going by the dimensions of the Sea Ghost that are mentioned inside the module. And of course, in Minecraft, blocks are 1 meter thick. So you could see the scaling difference on that matter.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yes, therefore, building a to scale model of the Sea Ghost with a one block with a 1 meter resolution isn't exactly what you're going to call fine tuned. Fine tuned building it. But I did the Sea Ghost. Then also in that same world, I went back to Salt Marsh and I'm building a shrine there because the idea there is that these being a fishing village, that they would have a shrine or two to water spirits or something like that, or to a water god or whatever in there. So I'm building a shrine. One of them is one to the Nether, where I'm thinking that the spirits of the shrine are trying to keep out the hostile, fiery denizens of the Nether. So that's their
Okay.
job in there. So I'm building a little shrine to there because right now I had this sort of sitting out in the open and not nice looking place. So I thought, well, we need something better than that for my nether portal. Then in my railroad challenge, I finally completed the first of the 4 lines I'm supposed to build in that challenge, my western line, which went all the way through a desert in there. And I just got started on my southern line, which is going to be my second line in there, and just trying to figure out where to put everything, at what points do I want to try to climb the terrain, and what points I want to tunnel, and all sorts of all that fun stuff you have to do at the beginning, deciding what materials I want to use for this line. And the other thing that I am doing is that when I was doing my survey, I came into an area, into this dark oak forest. We have all these huge trees and stuff like that. I come into there, and there so happened to have been a lava pit that was in the middle of this area, and there was a forest fire raging in there. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to get this fire out, between using water, using an axe, and all this stuff, trying to keep this fire from spreading, trying to then remove the lava that was in there so that would no longer be a problem. And so everything now is nice, and it looks like the forest is not going to burn down now. It would be terrible to lose an entire dark oak forest due to the ravages of fire. Then I also ran the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge for January, and I ran it twice. I ran it in the current released version, which is 1.13.2, and then I reran it in the latest snapshot, which was the last snapshot for 2018. And in this particular run, I think the second run went better. I guess, first of all, since I saw a few things, and then second of all, I sort of lucked into a very major component of the race early on in there, while I had a lot of trouble finding that for the other side. But anyway, I had a lot of fun running the January Minecraft Hardcore Challenge. Then on tabletop, I believe that during the last episode I said something about just having received Aeon's End Legacy.
You did.
Yes, right. So since then, I have run the complete Legacy campaign.
Holy crap.
Yep.
So
I had a
okay
lot
then.
of fun with that.
I guess.
I binged on that a little bit.
I guess so. Dang.
Yeah. So I ran that and had a lot of fun in there, and really was able to get back into Aeon's End after having a little bit of a break there. So yes, great deal of fun on Aeon's End Legacy. And that is my favorite Legacy game so far. And next we had Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, where I finally got around to playing the last 3 years, because it was divided in. I had run years 1 through 4 in the past, and I decided, let's try running years 5, 6, 7, and then I ran box 1 from the Monsters expansion. And in running this, so far, my opinion of this game is that the game peaks at year 5.
Okay.
And in fact, after I finished running it, if things don't change on how I feel about it between now and the time I finish the other 3 boxes that remain for the Monsters expansion, I'm probably just going to reset everything down to year 5, and when I play it, I'll usually play it on there, because I find that what you add in year 6 and what you add in year 7 and what you added in box 1 to the Monsters expansion are a bit of a slog. They just slow me down in a lot. They do things for the players in year 6. That, I think it's starting to be too much information when you're playing solo with 2 characters.
Probably.
It might work with one character. If you're only keeping track of one character, I think it's not much of a problem. When you're going back and forth between 2 characters, I think it's a bit, that sort of hit the level where doing the stuff for my characters was starting to get a little bit too much for me. That's why I ran Aeon's End Legacy. I ran that pure solo.
Oh, okay.
And I ran that pure solo because I felt like trying to handle 2 mages at the same time was going to be a bit of a problem for me. And so yes, so that was a bit of a problem, trying to handle 2 heroes at the same time. And then the dark arts cards that are added in year 5 and especially in year 6 were just brutal. I don't know if you ever played. I guess if you don't, I guess probably you haven't played this
I have
game
not.
before.
Nope.
Right, but you have these dark arts cards that come around in there, and they're brutal. And I had one time where a character almost got stunned twice between two of their turns,
Oh, wow.
and I was thinking that that was something that would be completely impossible. No, it was. It showed me that it was very, very much possible, and I just missed that particular problem by the skin of my teeth. It was just brutal, brutal in there, and it was constantly pounding, pounding. It was turning into a very non-fun thing because I was spending half the time stunned, and I was the other half of the time I had some sort of debuff on me that kept me from. Oh, sorry, you can't draw cards this turn. I'm sorry, you can't regain health this turn. I'm sorry,
Oh,
you
I
can't
hate
do
that.
location tokens this turn. You can't do this turn. And it was. I felt like I was almost never. I somehow won game 7 in there, but it was. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever play game 7 again because at that I just didn't like that. And I have a feeling the Monsters expansion is going to feel the same way. I'll have to find out as we go along in there, but that is what I'm feeling at the moment. But I really enjoyed my playthrough of year 5, and I think that I'll just reset back to then when I finish the entire thing. Because I'm trying to see if I could get through all the combinations of the heroes. We'll see on that. The next, I played Pandemic: A Fall of Rome, which is the latest entry to the Pandemic series. And as the name implies, rather than fighting diseases, you are trying to keep off the barbarians who are, of course, starting to migrate into the area, put pressure upon the Roman Empire, and of course cause things to eventually collapse. So you're trying to prevent the collapse of the Roman Empire. And how did that game go? Let me see. Pandemic: Fall of Rome. See. Oh, I barely managed to survive through there. I squeaked it. Now I was playing solo mode. This is actually the first. This particular version of Pandemic, because normally you don't have a native solo mode. It's just play 2 characters. In this, what they decided to do, which I really like what they did here, is you have access to 3 characters for 3 roles, but you have only one hand. You're playing the Emperor who's giving orders to these people. So you have only one hand you need to manage.
Oh, okay.
And that helps me because trying to manage 3 hands is a little bit of a pain. And that's the one problem I have usually when I try to do solo Pandemic. And I think that's the reason why I never finished Pandemic Legacy Season 2 was trying to control these 2 characters at the time, 2 hands and all that stuff. But this, playing the Emperor, only one hand, and I have 3 characters, but since I'm only doing one of those at a time, and I only have one hand to worry about, it's not as much of a problem. So I had a lot of fun on that one. Then in Deep Space D6, I believe I mentioned last time that I just received the Endless expansion just before the end of it. So I finally got around to playing that. So I played that one through, and if I remember correctly, I actually won that one. It was a rather narrow one on a couple of ones, but I managed to eventually get through them all, survive, and destroy the ship. So it was the ship I'm most familiar with. I suspect if I tried it on one of the other ships, I would probably have been blown into space dust. Then I finally took out Rising 5. I hadn't had a chance to actually play that before, so I played this, and I just find the app to be a bit on the fiddly side. I guess I just find it fiddly usually when I'm playing a game with apps, and so that's what I felt in there, trying to tell okay, here's the thing, taking pictures with my iPad, getting in there, interacting with the screen, saying, okay, here we go, let's try. You know, I just found it a little bit fiddly on there. I managed to get through it. Now I had it on the easiest setting because this was the first time I was playing the game, and I just wanted to figure out how it was. It's probably a good idea because I believe I won with only 2 cards remaining. If you run out of cards, you lose the game.
Oh, okay.
So it was very close before I went in there. Now, of course, the easiest part for me, I think that what helped me win it, despite my not knowing what to do, was A, of course, I had it on easy mode, but B, of course, I know Mastermind. And solving this puzzle is, of course, similar to solving a Mastermind program.
Well, you'd be right at home then.
Yeah, so I was right at home on there. I figured this is not a game for you.
Sounds like a no. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Puzzles, I'm out.
Yeah. Then next, I tried a new game, Talisman Legendary Tales. I don't know. Have you heard of this one?
I actually have not.
Ooh.
I'm assuming it's in the Talisman series of games, though.
Yeah, it's set in the Talisman. It is put up by Pegasus Spiel, who licensed the. I'm not sure who did. I think they might have actually designed it under license, of course, from Game Designers Workshop, of course.
Okay, yep.
And so it's set in the Talisman universe. It's targeting a more casual audience than, of course, Talisman is pretty casual in the way it is as it is. This is a bag builder, and it's cooperative.
Okay.
Because the original Talisman is very, very competitive and cutthroat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially in your group.
Well, yeah, of course. I don't think we've ever played Talisman, but I'm sure we turned it into that, yeah.
Oh, your group never played Talisman?
I'm trying to think. I don't remember us ever playing it, but...
Yeah, I can just imagine your group, how cutthroat. I mean...
Oh, my God, yeah.
It lends itself to being cutthroat.
Oh, yeah.
Just imagine your group trying to play it.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. So this is a cooperative bag builder, and the object of the game then is you have adventures. There are 5 adventures that come with it, each with 2 chapters, where you try to do something, trying to help with something, and then they're saying, okay, you finished phase 1, now continue along and let's finish this. It's one of those 2 chapters, and you try to build up your bag, of course, because you start out with 7 pieces, and then you get to improve it in there. Now, I felt as I was playing it that solo mode might be the easiest mode in there because I didn't see too many drawbacks in solo, because usually in cooperative games there are some, you can be brittle, for example, if you're in solo mode, such as in which one am I? Oh, Aeon's End, for example. In solo, you can be pretty brittle because you have only 1 mage, so therefore there's only 1 mage to absorb damage. When they say this mage suffers damage, this mage suffers damage, this mage suffers damage. Well, they're all the same mage who's suffering damage, so you very quickly can get yourself knocked out and exhausted in there. In this game, there is no mechanism for that, and of course, solo play, you could build a pretty power deck, which will a pretty hefty bag that will dilute the really bad tokens that you get at start, because there are a couple of them that you don't like coming up. So therefore, diluting them out of the bag is sort of pretty useful. They're the ones that force time to pass. So therefore, you are getting rid of those time passage tokens, or at least diluting them, and at the same time, you don't have anything contrasting, except in the final mission, where in the final mission, they say at the start of the first player's first turn each time. Actually, I think it's the talisman holder who it is, not the first player in there. At the start of the turn of the talisman holder, you start to lose tiles from the board. And in that case, playing solo is like, unforgiving.
Oh, yeah, that could get brutal real quick, I bet.
Yeah, because I found out that I managed to get through there and get past the monsters each of the turn in there, but I made it only slightly. And in fact, at one point I made a decision. Do I try to to complete all the subtasks, all the minor tasks that are in there or not? Eventually I was wondering, well, why should I do this? Then it says, okay, it'll help you later on. And I found out that was an understatement, because not only do you get a bonus for this, but if there's one that you don't have that's still on the board, there's a bit of a penalty, because as extra monsters that would be on the board later on. And if I had one more monster tile with a monster on it, the game could only have been finished. I could only have won the game if I had the RNG smile upon me. Now, I won this without the RNG smiling upon me, and I think I had the maximum number of monsters you could have on there in the end game and succeed in that situation. So, yes. So, but I find though that other than that, I find that the solo game is easier on there, and maybe I have to think on something to do that if there's some way to do that on there, because I think I would like to run through the campaign again after seeing it, and actually perhaps maybe with one of the other characters, because perhaps one of the other characters will play differently, because each character of course has its own unique ability and their own unique set of tokens that they have in their bag at the start. So we'll see on that. Then finally, I played a new game that I recently got called Discover Lands Unknown. I don't know if you're familiar with this one.
Sort of. I got a press release on it, and I watched, or I read a review about it, but I actually haven't played it or anything myself.
Right, so this is by Fantasy Flight Games, and this is a survival game. It comes with 5 different scenarios, and that in there you receive 2 different terrain types. There are 2 scenarios that go with one terrain type, 2 scenarios that go with the other terrain type, and then the fifth scenario is played on any terrain type. And the 5th scenario I probably will never play, because that's the competitive one, and the other 4 are the cooperative and solo ones. And the thing about this one, the gimmick on this particular one, is that each box is a little bit different. There are several different land types, so you get one of the easier land types and one of the harder land types for your game. There will be separate set of different characters that you get one set over another and stuff like that. So each copy of the game is a little bit different, which means if I went out to the store and bought a second copy, well, with my luck, it'll probably be exactly the same, but supposedly it's not supposed to be.
Okay, then.
Anyway, and that rounds up what I did. So, yeah, that was a busy bit. Well, because I had set all those goals for gaming for the year, I thought, well, I better get off to a quick start before things really...
I guess so.
Yes. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And of course, someday, Dracula will have time to look into updated rewards.
Sure, sometimes this year.
Sometime this year. That's another one of your goals.
There you go.
You might have even mentioned that. Yes.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. This year, I promise.
We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow Drac on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance currently has 2 live shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, though occasionally that 7 p.m. bit could be negotiable. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Local Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.